Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Osun Speaks. To those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. You can contact me directly at osunspeaks@gmail.com or via telephone 718-500-5620. That's for any appointments and any inquiries. Again, welcome to Osun Speaks, where every voice is heard. We discuss topics that range from what's going on with our world's pandemic today, your cultural and spiritual platform, your background, or the lack thereof. There are no issues or no topics that are too large or too small. So with that being said, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I had something just great that, I was going to speak with you about today, and everything's great, but I'm going to change my topic today. I had a very interesting conversation with my mother a little earlier this afternoon, and I would like to share this with you. It's very interesting. It's kind of gives us a perspective of how our elders, or some of our elders, think today. Not all of our elders, but some of our elders. It also supports when I speak and I speak with everyone regarding how we're kind of computerized or how we're programmed a certain way, which we have to kind of step out of that matrix a little bit, and we have to find who we truly are and what's really inside of us. We have to step outside of this programming. And what I mean by programming, it's just ways that have been handed down from generation to generation, but they weren't truly our ancestors' way. And it kind of stays inside of a box instead of thinking kind of outside of the box and showing true compassion and empathy for others. Which hence is treat others the way that you choose to be treated. So my mother, for the past couple of days, she's been calling me and asking, how do I block someone's number to prevent them from calling me? And I'm trying to understand why this almost 80-year-old woman needs to block someone's number. So this is a little concerning. And finally, today she texts. Yes, at this age she's texting and sending video, mail, and all that good stuff. But she sends me a text message and she says, "Oh, I'm so sleepy that one of her girlfriends, has called her all night and was calling her at 4:00 in the morning and sending text messages." And I had to basically ask why. I had to humor her on this. It just seems a little weird. But she calls and she says, "Oh, I just can't take it anymore." And she's calling me and she's calling me. And I'm saying, but I don't understand why. What is the issue? What is the problem? I don't want to talk to her anymore. And she's left me a ton of text messages and voicemails. So, again, I'm going to humor her because I know my mother. So I said, let me ask, okay, what is she saying in the text messages? What is this all about? And she says, "Oh, I don't want to hear about her complaining. Her girlfriend tells her this, and her girlfriend mistreats her, and da-da." So I'm saying, whoa, I'm not understanding. So long story short, basically my mother went on for about 20 minutes, rattling on that her girlfriend has a girlfriend, which is more than just a girlfriend, who's actually a partner. And she doesn't approve of that. My mother is she's totally against it. And she says, "Oh, well, she treats her bad and blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to hear it. She's always calling me up crying, saying that the lady treats her terrible. And I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing it. And she controls everything that she does." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. I'm a little unclear on what you're saying. I really need you to break this down for me. And she says, well, she complains about this woman. And I kept saying, why are you in a relationship with this woman? Or why are you listening to what this woman is telling you? You should just stand up to this woman. She's a woman just like you. So I said, okay, that's where I need you to stop. If it was a man, would you give her that same advice? Would you tell her to go ahead and stand up to this man? Because I find your choice of words a little alarming to me. And, you know, we went back and forth for a little bit, and I said, well, listen, I've heard you out, and I'm going to offer my suggestion to you would be the following. If you don't want to get into the middle of someone else's situation, and I advise you not to get into the middle of anyone's relationship. You're going to always, in the end, you're going to be the bad guy. That's just the bottom line. You know, a person will not walk away or will not leave a situation, regardless of whether it's relationship, whether it's work, friends, family, it doesn't matter. A person will not do that until they're ready to do it. That's just the bottom line. So what I would suggest you do is that when she begins complaining about, well, I can't wear this, and this person says this doesn't look good on me, or that, I would, and she asks your opinion, I would just tell her, listen, I honestly can't give you my opinion on that because I'm not in that situation. If I was in that situation, then I would be able to tell you. But I can't form a strong advice or opinion for you on what you're going through because I've never gone through it and I'm not in that situation. I think you need to do what's best for you. And then just listen, be there to listen. My mother had a fit and she says, no, absolutely not. I think it's disgusting and I can't believe it. And I said to her, for a woman of your age who's supposed to have that wisdom, and you do this church thing every Sunday, I'm going to say to you, judge not lest thou be judged. And she kept talking, and then I said it to her 2 more times. I said, Mommy, judge not lest thou be judged. And she stopped, she paused for a moment, and she said, what did you say? And I said, you heard me correctly. You cannot pass judgment on anyone unless you're prepared to stand and be judged yourself. I'm not passing judgment on her, and I have no opinion. I say, you do obviously have an opinion on this, and you do have an issue with the fact that, you know, she's gay or what have you. I don't know the situation, but I have girlfriends. I have 2 very, very, very good friends who are gay. You know, the bisexual thing, I mean, it's just a name. I really don't believe in it. I think that it's just a name. Giving a justification for why you have a sexual relationship with the same sex and opposite sex, I think that's all it is. And you shouldn't have to justify that to anyone. So why do you need to put a title on it? It's the bottom line. Why do I need to go so far as to explain to someone if I was bisexual, okay, I'm bi? That doesn't make sense. You know, you don't have to justify yourself to anyone. And I explained to my mother, I have 2 very good girlfriends. One is actually married to a woman, and the other, she's not married as of yet, but I support them 210%. I cannot judge or have a voice on what they do inside of their bed, in their bedroom. That's not for me to judge. It's not me. I'm not there. They're not using my body to do this with. So why form such a strong opinion about what someone else is doing inside of their bed? It doesn't make sense. That's crazy. So, you know, she continued to go on and on and on and on and on. Yes, Mango, I see you have an opinion too. But it's like, why? Why are you so passionate and eager to disprove that what your friend is doing is wrong? So it's doesn't matter, you know, how old or how young a person is. This just goes to show you that it's out there. It's very strong. I never would have thought that my mother would have been this way or would have responded this way, especially to her girlfriend. You know, we have family members who are gay, both male and female. My mother's niece, her oldest sister's daughter is married to a woman, you know, so it's very odd. It's very strange. But again, it's there. It's very alive. In the year 2020, we have so many other things to worry about besides what people are doing inside of their bed. I would hope and I would think that we would be concentrating more on the issues at hand as opposed to what your sexual preference is. But I see that, hey, it's just everywhere. As I said to her, love those who are close to you, love those who you love or you're supposed to love your friends, love your family members, love your significant other. Love like love is going out of style. Love like love is going to be extinct. That's the way you're supposed to love. That's how you should love. You should love hard. Your way of showing your love is totally up to you as an individual. But love as if love is going to be extinct. Because at the rate that we're going, it looks like love may become extinct. And it's all about, you know what? What's socially accepted. I would think that we've gotten past that in the year 2020. But obviously we haven't gotten past that. It's still going on, and it will continue to go on, and it's going on inside of our homes. You know, I can't fathom a mother or a father not loving their child or disowning their child because of their child's sexual preference. But it happens every day, and it's been happening for years and years and years. And there are so many people who are in their grave to this day committing suicide over the fact that they didn't have a proper support system, or that they were abused at the hands of parents, or parents are sending children away to these reform boot camps that with the hopes that, okay, after they spend time in this boot camp, they're going to come home and they're not going to be gay anymore. Sounds crazy. While you were so busy worrying about sending your child away to reform he or she because they're gay, what you probably should have been done, and this is to some of the parents out there, you should have been trying to seek psychiatrists for your children that were killing little animals, or that you knew had social issues going on. And then maybe we would have had less Jeffrey Dahmers in the world or Charles Mansons in the world. You see, sometimes people get so jaded behind what looks good. So you would rather have a Charles Manson or a Jeffrey Dahmer in the world because their appearance looks good, and they're given the ideal image of being with a woman or being with a man if it's a woman. But yet behind the scenes, they're out there killing and eating folks. As opposed to having a child who is absolutely brilliant, very successful in the world. It's just that their sexual preference doesn't agree with what you feel is the ideal image. It's absurd. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I have one child. I love my child. If my daughter was to call me today and say, Mommy, this is what I've decided to do in my life, I support her 110%. I'd walk the lines with her. I'd protest with her if need be, or walk the gay pride parades, whatever it takes to support your child. My girlfriends, I support them 210%. How could you not support the one that you supposedly love or the one you care about? How? Just because it's socially incorrect or it doesn't match the ways of your fate, your so-called fate? Because I do have another girlfriend who has a son who's gay. Her firstborn child. And when she found out, she degraded him and preached to him that he was not going to get into heaven, and that God didn't love him. It was wrong in the eyes of God. And, you know, she came to my home to speak to me about it. And I listened to her. And the first thing I said to her was, you as his mother, how did you not know he was gay? Hey, I don't understand that. All you need is just 2 minutes to know that your son was, just a couple of minutes, and you would know that your son was gay. You chose not to know. You knew, but you kept blinding yourself to it. And then to degrade your child and tell him that he wasn't going to get into heaven and that God didn't love him, that's absolutely horrible. You carried this child for 9 months, stayed in labor, and then brought him into the world. And now you're going to tell him something so absurd as to he's not going to get into heaven because he's gay? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. We're all created in the Creator's image. Every last one of us. Even the Charles Mansons and the Jeffrey Dahmers. We're all created in the Creator's image. So if the Creator did not come down and say in person, you and your sexual preference, this is wrong, and I'm totally against this, and you know what, you're going to suffer and you're going to die right now. If this isn't happening, why are we persecuting people for what they do in their bedroom? I'm so confused. It doesn't make sense. People are in constant contradiction of themselves, especially when it comes down to this faith. And this brings me to the programming that I spoke about in the beginning of this video. Programming. You know, you have a lot of people from the South, and my mother she's a Southern woman through and through, and they didn't believe. This was just not the way. Being gay was not the way. A lot of people who were gay, you know, back in those days, you know, of our elders, they hid it. It was hidden. It was well hidden, just like in Jamaica, even to this day in Jamaica. They torment in Jamaica gay individuals, male and female. They killed them there. They beat them. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. So we're programmed a certain way. Well, not all of us. Some of us are programmed a certain way. It's just that, no, this is bad, and that's bad. Well, you know something? There are those of you who don't find fault with that. You're finding no problem with that whatsoever. There's another programming that's been going on for quite some time. It's called racism. Not liking someone because of the color of their skin. And there were so many people who were programmed this way. No one's born racist. No one's born prejudiced. When you're born, you're born. These are things that are taught. It's taught. To dislike someone, to hate a person because of the color of their skin, or because of their gender, or because of their sexual orientation. These are all things that are taught. They're taught. Someone is teaching you from very young that these things are bad. They're bad. So, with that being said, to all of you out there who feel that being gay is horrible, it's despicable, that our Creator frowns upon it, and as some say, gay people are not going to get into heaven, to all of you people who feel this way, that are of color or of Hispanic background, Asian, Indian, Persian, Israeli. How did it feel? Or how do you think our ancestors felt being discriminated upon because of the color of their skin? Not because they did anything wrong, simply because of the color of their skin. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. There was a group of people that felt that being of color, it's a horrible thing. It's a curse. It was a curse. It's despicable. It's disgusting that we're lower than animals. Thus, organizations were born, NAACP. We had leaders who marched for us, who died for us, who risked their lives and gave their lives to free us. But yet in turn, what do? We allow these horrible teachings by people who actually oppressed us to carry on to this day. And so now we're finding ways to oppress others and one another because of a sexual orientation. Come on. It's horrible. How do you call yourself a so-called Christian? Some people say they're Christians. I don't know. Or you're a priest or a priestess within whatever your spiritual platform is. How do you feel that you're living a life of good character, a just life? Because that's what Ifa teaches us, to live a just life, a life of good character. How do you feel that you're living this way if you discriminate against someone because of their sexual preference? It's very confusing. Very confusing. So I just wanted to share that little bit with you and stress to everyone. Love hard. Love as hard as you can possibly love. Don't worry about what someone else is doing inside of their bedroom. There are a lot of people out there who engage in S&M, and for some of you that don't know what that is, it's this kinky sex, let's say that. There are a lot of people who don't approve of that. They just don't. So what are you're going to discriminate against them? But of course. Stop concerning yourself with the affairs, the private affairs of others. And concern yourself with your private affairs. Love, be happy. If you have a friend who's going through something, or a family member, be that listening ear for them. That's what you should do. Be the listening ear for them. If they ask for advice, limit your advice. Remember, sometimes we can give too much advice. And that advice turns into telling someone what they should do. You don't need to tell anyone what they should do, especially someone who's grown, an adult. If you can relate to their situation, share your experiences with them. And pray and hopefully they'll get something from your experience. But if you have no experience with it, you can't sit back and say, well, this is going to be the best thing for you. You don't even know what the best thing is for you yet. So, love that person. If they call you 10 times a day and they're crying, if you're available to speak with them, listen to them 10 times a day. Allow them to cry and get it all out. Because that may make the difference in their life. Or that could save their life. Don't be a person that sits and say, I would have, could have, should have. Don't be that person. Because one day it could be you. It could be you. And maybe all you would need is just someone to listen to you. So with that being said, I've shared that tidbit with you. Love one another. And I think that Mango agrees as well. Love one another. Be happy. Have peace. Love like it's going to be extinct. I have 3 L's. Live, love, laugh. Live, love, laugh. In that order. And you'll see the change. So till next time, remember, take a look in that mirror as soon as you're finished viewing this video. And tell that person staring back at you, I love you. Bye. May Osun bless you and guide you always.